Hitler came into power in 1933. Soon after that, in 1939 to 1945, World War II took place. Hitler targeted many groups, such as the Jews, cripples, people of color, political powers, gypsies, Jehovah's Witnesses, and the homosexuals. In order to create his Aryan race, Hitler began to kill anyone against him or not part of his Aryan race. As time progressed, it began a goal for Hitler to create the perfect way to kill any and all people against him. Concentration camps were built to dispose of people. There was no way out once you were in. All you could do was pray to God you'd survive till the end. People were murdered, ripped apart from their family, never to be seen again. Children were sent off immediately to be killed. Anyone sent there would have either been gassed, shot, worked to death, or tortured to death. In total, 11 million people were killed during the Holocaust by the Nazis. Our essential question is, why did Hitler target the Jehovah's Witnesses? And what's your opinion?
I think that Hitler targeted Jehovah's Witnesses because he was a mean, ruthless man that hated anyone not supporting him, and since they refused to choose a side in the war and would not fight for the Nazis.
My opinion on our question is that Hitler was ruthless and savage, killing anyone who got in his way. Unfortunately, the Jehovah's Witnesses were one of those. I think the Jehovah's Witnesses were good people following their religion. They were innocent people being killed by one man's rule.
Jehovah's Witnesses suffered from an extreme amount of religious prosecution from the Nazis. They suffered for refusing to involve in the military, and also for not joining the Nazi organization or pledging allegiance to the Hitler regime. An estimated 10,000 witnesses were imprisoned, including 2,000 who were sent to concentration camps. An estimated number of around 1,200 died in custody under the Nazis. This includes 250 who were executed. They were the first Christian group most widely and most extensively prosecuted. Unlike Jews and Gypsies, who were prosecuted on the basis of their ethnicity, the Jehovah's Witnesses were targeted because of their religious stance and for not abiding to Hitler's rule.
When did you start school? 1936. It was the same year, you see, same time when it started off with Austria. Parallel to that, I was talking about the Bible reading, and it is so much different from what the Catholic taught, you know, their priest taught. So the children would get at me and they would call me dirty Jew. Because there was no worse way, you know, to express hatred than to use that expression, dirty Jew. But it did not have, it didn't crush on me. It made me proud, because for me the Jews were God's people, Abraham's seed. And I thought it was an honor to be compared to a Jew. So I never felt this as being a load on me, you see.
Before your parents began to convert to Jehovah's Witnesses, had you ever known a Jehovah's Witness? Had you ever seen Bibelforschers?
No. We practically were well, there was a group of about 40 for a whole department, you know. And my mother got 3 booklets from one of Jehovah's Witnesses who traveled through the country coming from Switzerland. And she never saw him again afterwards, you know, after they did their own Bible studies, until they found the group. So they found the group. I was about 8 years old or 9 when we got to get to some meetings of other witnesses there. And by this time, we had a very clear understanding of what would happen to us when the German would take over, you see. So we expected it and we got ready for that.
Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889. He was born to Alois and Clara Hitler. He had a total of 5 siblings who all died at an early age. This could also be due to why Hitler is such an angry person. As a child, his father was a civil servant, and he made a lot of money. But sadly, him and Hitler did not get along. Elias was a very angry man, He had a bad temper, bad attitude, and was very obnoxious and conceited. He would constantly beat on him and his mother. His mother, on the other hand, was a very nice and gentle woman. Although she was a woman, she did not have a lot of say inside the household, so therefore her opinion was very belittled inside the house. Also, as a child, Hitler began to be more like his father, very aggressive and mean. They moved around constantly because of his father's attitude until later on they settled down in Liz. There he went to secondary school where he became a very popular person as a child. He made a lot of friends and was always playing games. Anything him and his friends would do, Hitler would naturally be the leader. Later on, he'd grow up to use the powers for evil and not good.
With the lack of knowledge of who Hitler was, we can only assume the psychological aspect of who Hitler was. We can assume that with the constant anger and aggression from his father, that Hitler himself became a mere image of a loss, except with more power. With the natural-born leader within and his duty in the military, Hitler, along with his hatred, clawed his way to the top of the social ladder and became the tyrant we know him as. With the power he had and the hatred towards religion, it was a matter of time before the Jehovah's Witnesses were being attacked. With the witnesses against Hitler, the recipe for disaster was formulated, and the target of the Jehovah's Witnesses was created. As to make sure no sign of hope to act against, Hitler was created and the target was born.